Good afternoon, family, friends, and fans, my LinkedIn family, all of those that are joining us on the different platforms. Good day and good afternoon to you. I'm your host and facilitator, Dr. Alwanda Bennett, and over the next few weeks, we'll be exploring quite a few topics as we lead up to this exciting event called Love in Business and Leadership. The hostess of that event and the founder of that event is with us today. Her name is Lady Patricia Anderson, and she is here to share her thoughts and insights. First of all, Lady P, talk to us about this event that's coming up next month. I am super excited.
Happy blessed Thursday, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here with Dr. Elwanda yet another day. And so I am so excited to announce Saturday, February the 15th, you guys. It's on a Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And it's going to start on time. I'm having an empowerment and networking event. It is called Always Be a Lady, and the theme is the love of business and leadership. And so it is to empower, encourage, and inspire people to keep going in 2025. Let's not give up. Let's not quit. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving forward. And so it will be at the Clayton Library in the Carriage House. And so that is off of Carolina. And it is an absolutely free event. It is for anybody that is leading, whether you're leading in business and ministry or even in your home. I want you to come out, be encouraged, be inspired, and be empowered to keep going in 2025. Our very own empowerment speaker will be Dr. Elwanda herself, and she will be empowering the people. We will have some fun activities, some fun icebreaker, some way to to network and to come together in collaboration and unity on February. It's the month of love. So that's why it's the love of business and leadership. So whether you're in your home and you say, "Oh, I'm not a leader," well, you leading when you lead in your home. You're doing business when you pay your bills.
You have said it. You have said
Everybody's a
it.
leader and everybody's doing business no matter where they are, what they do, what their position is, if they don't have a position or if they don't think it. So we're here to encourage, inspire, and to commit to you that you can go forward. And we're standing in agreement with you on that, because you can move forward, you can be successful. It goes through the mind first. And so we want to make sure that we don't lose anybody in 2025 to say, "I can't do it," or "I'm too old." Yeah, you're not too old. You can do it. And we are here to help you, because you never know who's in the room that can help you with your business, help you in your finance, help you in your home endeavors, whatever it is you want to accomplish in 2025. I don't want you to give up your goals, your vision, or your dreams. And so that's what the event is about.
I am most taken by when you talk about help, and we know the value of connectedness, network, being a part of the community, a contributing member. And the reason I wanted to talk about DEI is because I think it's counterintuitive to the connectedness, to the belonging, to the help and support of the local community, which is something that you're striving to create a safe environment for people to thrive. That's simply what you want to do. So
Yes.
that's why I wanted to talk about it. Now, um, I
It's
call it
absolutely free. It's absolutely free. So come on out.
that
Uh,
makes it affordable.
we're going to have giveaways and all those things. And so, my email address and my website is rolling at the bottom of the screen. You can go to the website and register for absolutely free. And you can email me if you can't find it on the website or whatever, and I can give you the directions. It is also on Eventbrite. If you put in "Always Be a Lady" and empowerment event, you will find it on Eventbrite, and it is absolutely free. FREE.
Wow, that is amazing because I know not only are you a woman of value, but you also circulate in networks of value. So the people that you bring together are high caliber people. And what I mean by that, they're serious about their mission. They walk in excellence and they're of exemplary character. So
Absolutely.
that's what makes the meeting exciting to me because it's the opportunity to connect with people that are working on important things in our world.
Absolutely.
The reason I wanted to talk about the death of DEI a little bit more is because today there was a very terrible situation And our leader said it was the fault of DEI. And I kept thinking, nah, not really. I disagree because the DEI, the diversity, equity, inclusion that they've made was largely performative and it was designed, in my mind, to keep white male supremacist structures in place. So the performative DEI that we've been experiencing since 2020, now there are other practitioners that have been in it much longer. I came into it as a practitioner probably in 2020. That's when they asked me to go get certified, start hosting the meetings, working with another lady whom I love that was a great educator, explaining what DEI was, that sort of thing. Um,
So
I want to know your experiences with it.
we've lost our way with DEI, diversity. I'm a baby from the '60s, so growing up in the '60s and '70s and having a job in the '80s, diversity was not always seen. It was a male environment and not necessarily a male environment just for all men across all um, culture or all race. It was predominantly a white male world, and you still have that. And so diversity, I had diversity classes in the '80s when I worked for a company, and it was talking about including everybody, so nobody's left out, so nobody has to feel inferior because you're qualified and you doing the same job, you're doing the same work. We want you to have the same opportunities. And diversity was learning about each other's culture because we learned in diversity classes, which I had to take every year, that certain cultures uh, communicate certain ways, and certain cultures they don't believe in women as bosses, or they don't want to look eye to eye. So it was just different things to teach us about diversity as far as in the workplace within the cultures, and also to leverage our opportunities to be able to get jobs that we are well qualified for. And so we didn't even have the opportunities to be that we qualified for to even fit into those places because they had. I'm not going to say that every white male that was in a position was not qualified. That's not true at all. But they had no competition. So I say this: they had no competition, and so we came on as a competition, and we had to be 3 times better. Even as females, females wanted a chance to shine bright because we were working behind the scenes doing their work, their job anyway. But it was supposed to be to make everybody feel included, and it just lost its way along the way. And so it became a quota situation versus let's make everybody feel included. We don't have to have 3 people here and this and that and the other thing. But I just think it just lost its way and it lost what it was really set out to do.
I have to agree with you because it was supposed to instill a sense of fairness. And the interesting thing about it is, okay, diversity, it's a lot of us, everybody's different. Equity means that we're coming in and we're being put on a equal playing field. And the
Mhm.
inclusion means you get to be a part of it. But they left out the B, the belonging. They never focused a lot about the belonging, the connectedness, why we wanted the DEI in the first place. You could go
Yes,
and work in a place and still not belong
absolutely.
because you were
Absolutely.
made to feel like you didn't belong. I believe that the belonging is the glue that would have kept DEI together if they'd have focused on belonging. So not only are we going to the workplace, but we belong there.
I
We are
belong there.
supposed to be there. Right. So when they were
Absolutely.
educating, and there used to be an office in the city of Houston called the Office of Protocol. They were a cultural office that would teach you the different customs of the different cultures like you described. But
Mhm.
the DEI, what they brought to it is they explained to us there's 13 dimensions of diversity. I don't think people recognize that there's
Yeah.
13 different dimensions. So some people have to see it as a black issue, some see it as a female issue, some say, oh no, it's the gays, or they'll say, oh no, it's the handicapped people.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, it's all of us who are
It's
not
everybody.
cisgendered, that who are not cisgendered white males. Everything that's
Yes.
different than that, everything, because you know, That's
But
to
when
be
you
taught.
say diversity inclusion, it includes them. We want them to be on the team. We want them to be a
Hmm.
part of the team.
I
We're
like
all
that.
better together, and we need them as well. So when we say belonging, we want everybody to belong. We want everybody to have a seat at at the table and equal playing fields. That doesn't mean, if they can do it in football, if they can do it in basketball, if they can do it in soccer, if they can do swimming,
Right.
they can come together as a team to win with everybody on the team, black, white, Hispanic, whatever your culture, Chinese, Asian, whatever your culture, if they can come together and win as teams, why we can't come together as teams in the workplace and win as well? Because they did it better together. We can't, ain't one race better than another race. It's just not.
You're
It's
so right.
it's just not. We all created by God. So, you know, I
I
believe
like
red.
that.
I believe red.
That's the thing. And I felt
If
like
anybody believe anything else, oh, y'all better put it on social media because it's America.
you want it to be an area of psychological safety to say what it is you're thinking
Yeah.
instead of it being performative. That's the key thing. I
Yes.
think that's where it went wrong. It was performative. It was check the box. Let's
Yes.
check the box. Like I was talking to a guy, he was like, I don't know um, how to say this and how to say that in this way. I said, well, just say what you normally would say. And he was like, well, I don't know if it's okay. I said, we'll decide. Just go ahead on and speak freely, at ease.
At ease.
Because he didn't want to offend. And I'm like, no, that's not what this is all about.
No.
I I remember working at the army. It was diversity, equity, inclusion, and I felt like I belonged. There was no program. I just showed up as a woman in a male dominated field doing IT, and somebody had to remind me, oh, you are a middle aged black woman. I'm like, oh yeah, I am that in addition to all the other things. Because they treated me in such a way that that was not the focus of our work together.
Yes.
We actually got to get in and win and work together, like you're talking about. We
That's what
actually
it's
got to go
about.
in there and succeed as a team and win.
That's what it's about. That's what it's
Yes.
about. I've been on some amazing team with diverse people on that team, and I'm telling you, we excelled and we did some great things together, and we won some great triumphs, and we actually showed up for our organization. I am, like you said, I'm involved in other community um, places, and we perform very well. In those spaces as diverse as the groups are. And so I just think we have to. I don't want to eliminate anybody. I don't want it to be an all male. That's why to always be a lady event, even though for business and leaders, it's for men too. It may be titled that because that is my one of my brands is always be a lady. And so it's I used to have the always be a lady brunch, and I always included both all my conferences, always had men from day one at the conferences. And so I'm just excited about, being able to see the difference of, what we do. I don't have a thing where I say, this is only for men, this is only for women, unless it's the bathroom. This is a men's bathroom, this is a
Right,
woman's.
right, right, right,
Okay,
right.
let's be clear.
Right.
Men's locker room, women's locker room, let's be clear about that. And but I think that, we're here to complement one another and to get tasks done. Because when we work in a silo, we miss the creative ideas, and I'm talking about age too. I mean, we can learn from everybody.
Age
Young
is
folks, I
different.
mean, they have a different way of thinking. And so when they think something's like, it'll spark something in you. Yes, this is possible. Yes, it can happen. Oh, wow. I never thought of doing it that way. And the older people, some, and I don't say all, but some older people are walking wisdom and can teach. But you also got to be open to learn and be teachable. So,
I've been talking about sometime back the silver tsunami for the wave of baby boomers that are planning to exit the workforce and the transfer of knowledge and,
yeah.
and that wisdom that you're talking about right now. That's why I thought DEIB was valuable because then we can get a situation of connectedness, better understand each other, improve our communication skills so that we're able to connect with each other more effectively. But when they
Absolutely.
made the training mandatory, didn't talk about the why, you know, I believe it was applied to put a band-aid on some very difficult social constructs that exist.
Yeah, I mean, you
The
had a lot of
caste system.
lawsuits going on,
Yep.
that people, um, didn't hear, and just things that they spoke out loud that, made people feel like they didn't belong or they weren't worthy, or those type of things. So, but Dr. Elwanda, you speak different languages. How many different languages do you speak? How many cousins?
I could speak, read, and write Italian, Portuguese, Japanese. I can only speak Japanese, but I can speak, read, write Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and French. And there's some others
Okay.
that I could speak well enough to eat because I know what I want to order. I know what I want to eat. So if I'm
You-
going Korean, I'm gonna speak that. If I'm going Thai, I'm gonna speak that. Whatever they got over there to eat on the menu, I'm gonna speak that. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about, especially with DEI and how it's dying, is because it's essentially become a scapegoat for a number of different reasons. Economic pressures, there's anxiety around the economy, job market pressures, things like that. And so now they're trying to say, oh, it's the fault of DEI. That's why the job market's tough and all this other thing, because people really believe that they're being excluded. But it's not just one group. It's a large swath of the society that is feeling that it's out there, hard out there in the streets. There's also the political polarization and the culture wars that are going on in the background, stuff that we don't like the old versus young, like
yeah.
the Gen Z versus the great generation. They're always trying to put us at odds, not about what we have in common. And what's unique, at least with Generation Z, those kids, they don't see this thing of discrimination in the same way we do because they
Okay.
really haven't had to encounter it. They when they go into a workplace, everybody there is already diverse. So by the time
Yeah.
they get there, they're like, "What are they talking about? Everybody here. What do they mean? Why they have classes on this? Everybody here now." But they
Yeah.
don't recognize that it took a while for that party to come
A long
together.
while. It wasn't looking like that when I got in the workforce in the 80s. So it wasn't looking like that. It didn't matter that you had a degree. It didn't matter that you had a master's. You just, um, yeah, it just didn't matter back then. And so, yeah, you were smart enough to do the stuff in the background and let them take the credit for it. Just like you saw in that movie with those women, uh,
The
that
hidden colors,
the astronauts, what was it called?
hidden
The Hidden Figures.
hidden
Yeah,
figures.
so the guy wanted to take her stuff in there that she gave to him. He didn't want her in the meeting. That's real.
Right,
Y'all, that's
right.
real.
That
That
really
happened.
happened.
That really happened. And that happened across the, thing. And it's no, I'm not saying that your boss shouldn't be presenting to the heads of the information that you give them, but let he needs to also recognize that my team. This is what the data that my team came up with that I recognize that they did that, and so yeah, in the other spaces, but that doesn't always work like that. Unfortunately, I live in Texas, so it's still that world and that culture, and so in some places, but guess what? How do we make a difference? How do we make a difference? We have to make sure that we're including everybody and that we're being culture sensitive enough to recognize that we don't have all the answers and we don't have all the solutions, but together we can come up with the answers and the solutions to any problem, any obstacle, any challenge that is out there, because we can put our heads together because we have different talents that are in the room. So that's why I like project management.
Me too, because that is a diverse field. It's everybody's in it. I feel the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in that field, quite honestly, because it crosses different industries, and
Yes.
um, and you get to learn new things because you meet fantastic people, but also because of like shifting corporate priorities. That's another reason for the death of DEI because they're like, it's not useful to us any longer. They had something called ESG, environmental social governance, ESG goals, and the DEI fell under the social slice of that. And they're like out of the window with that. We're not doing that anymore. It's not serving us. So because of that, um, that is moving. So our biggest thing is what's next after DEI, and since
Yes.
they didn't include the belonging, where do we belong? That's a
That's a
good
good
one, right?
That's a good question. That's something to ponder on. And so I think we got to
Mm-hmm.
pick this conversation back up, and because we
Right.
definitely want the opinions of some others to even relate in it. But I say it starts with me. It
I love
starts with
that.
me first. So I have to, make sure that I am making sure I'm diverse in every area that I can be, and I'm sensitive, and that I hear people and that I listen. You have to listen to what people are as leaders and business and what they are, because you have a lot of the big giants that swallow up the little giants. So you have to be open to that. And that's one thing why, you had the minorities not getting the contracts, the minorities not getting the certifications that they needed, because the people that were giving them out were either told not to give it to them, or they were even told they're not qualified, or even though they don't have enough experience, even though they've probably been doing it for so long, but because they wasn't a big giant, that so we have to be sensitive to listen to what they can do and what they can bring, because a lot of the big corporations started out in somebody's garage. So
Right.
you
I
know
like how you put that. One of the things I was thinking about that occurred to me as you were speaking, when you were talking about it, I remember sometime back, I do government contracting on all levels: city, state, federal, and local. And they had asked me to get a certification that I'm a black woman owned business. And I'm like, no, you looking at me. I'm not going to get no certificate. I'm just gonna let you look at me. You answer what I am, what you think you's looking at. I'm not gonna get no paper that say I'm thus and so when I truly am just thus and so. You're not gonna make me prove it. You're not gonna make me sit there and say, "Oh, I gotta fill out this paperwork." This paperwork is gonna validate the fact that I am truly black, truly female. I don't want that certification. I want it done on merit. And when I won my first merit contract, we were just the best, we just happened to be the best that time. I kept thinking to my friends, I'm so glad that we didn't spend that time in that exercise, because we were going to put a lot of time, energy, and effort and resources into proving that we simply are who we are, that we are female, that we are black, that we're a minority owned company. That really turned the tide. And I began to think, if with no DEI, what are we doing? We're doing community building. That's what we're doing. We're building our communities. And then we're also having belonging be a core business strategy. Make it a core
yes,
business strategy. It's a part of our, if you come to work with us on our team, you ours, you belong to us, we belong to each other. That's how we're going to handle it. There won't be any, oh, we ostracizing that person because of how they look. Or this person is not quite what we, this and that. We're not going to do that. We're going to come in and envelop and embrace the humanity that is coming to the workplace.
absolutely, absolutely. We all bring value.
I like,
I don't care. There was a CEO at one of the Woodlands Hospital, and she was amazing. She's a CEO at a different hospital now, and I won't even call the names, but she knew the person that, from the janitor to the person that cleaned the floor to the nurse to she knew everybody, and she knew these people by names. And I'm talking about a big hospital, and she cared enough to walk around and speak and encourage and um, do those things. She did it the Quint Studer way. If you don't know about Quint Studer, you can look him up.
well, I want to know.
His books out. He got books out and classes out, and and his thing was, let me listen to what the needs of the people that are actually doing the work is. And so, so I think, um, and then sometimes it depends on what's going on. You might not have an opportunity to do just that, but we have an opportunity to be nice. We have an opportunity to be smile. We have an opportunity not to put our nose up at people. We have an opportunity to just be
I'd
kind.
like the gravitation towards kindness, because with kindness, um, Initially, we had experienced direct discrimination and exclusion because of the DI
Mm-hmm.
and the practices that were put in place. It just simply went into the woodworks. It was always still there, but an underlying negative force, if you will. We knew it was there, but we just didn't want to talk about it. Then with DEI, it
Yeah.
started getting talked about more. And I know that made people uncomfortable, having to maybe confront the biases they had towards other people without realizing it, right? Because that was the whole, I think that's
Right.
why, another reason why it failed, because people don't like to have to examine their biases. No one wants to be
Mm-hmm.
made uncomfortable in that way. And there were some very difficult
That's true.
conversations that were had, and it got to be emotive. It got to be emotional because some people was like, um, felt, some would feel shame, some would feel anger, some would feel powerless because of the conversation. Nobody wants to be labeled, right, as having a certain ideology.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to be labeled or called
Yes.
out. And this particular practice would happen all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that also
Absolutely.
made it unpopular.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, definitely made it unpopular because it did not do what it was set out to do.
There was some
Um,
unintentional consequences, but you and I both know
it
that
was some,
diversity is what drives creativity and innovation.
yeah. And so you will not find the creative, let me say creative corporations, they will rename it to something else. I don't think they'll get rid of it. I think they'll rename it because they're already have that within their company. And so I just don't think that they'll get rid of it. I think it'll be renamed because one thing they don't want to do is cut off the hand that feeds them or the ones that help to make sure your company is successful. And so I don't think it's going away. I think it's going to be renamed to something else with probably some of the same agendas. And it won't be a government thing, but it'll be an internal thing.
I want to tell you about this one statistic I got from a McKinsey study that was done in 2020, and I just have it right here.
Okay.
It said that companies with the top quartile, the top 1/4%, top 25%, ethnic and gender equality were 35% more likely to have financial returns above the industry average. 35% more likely. So you can really kind of take diversity to the bank because when it comes down to the money and the dollar and the cents, having all the people together, working together, working their minds together is a actionable, real return on investment that you can spend.
You
You
could
can
take
take
it
it
to
to
the
the
bank,
bank, baby,
cash it in,
35%.
let it sit there, put it on the
Put it
stock
on the stock
market, let
market.
it
And you know
grow.
that that's
Let it grow, let it
exactly,
grow.
let it grow. And then you have the legal and
Yeah,
compliance factors, which I think it also made it very tough as well. It was an additional headwind
absolutely.
in that space because you mentioned kindness, and I prefer people be kind rather than nice because nice means I'm gonna just play, be
Mhm.
fake with you. I'm gonna smile and stuff. I'm gonna pretend to go
Yep,
along, but in my heart, I'm not with you. Kindness means
that's why I
I
said
see you,
kindness.
I know who you are. Um, I remember Jane Elliott doing this exercise where she stood a black woman next to a white man and they kept talking about what was different in her, but they would never say, oh, she's black. They never would say, oh, she's black. And, and they did size, they did everything, but they would not go to that. And she was like, come on now. Y'all can see precisely what I see. Y'all see a difference here. And the biggest thing is say, oh, we got to treat everyone equal. But that wasn't happening, which is why they invented all this stuff. That's why it became
Absolutely,
necessary.
absolutely.
So we have changing
Yes.
workforce and consumer expectations. That's also another thing that we're confronting. How do you think, since we're going more global, more international, how do you think is the best way that we as businesses keep that edge with the inclusion idea? How do you think that we could better perform in that area since we're not going to have the DEI no more? What are some of the ways that we could be more inclusive?
Well, like you said, I know we're not going to officially have DEI, but DEI is going to go on because if we want to do business with certain companies, I won't mention his name, but he's a foreigner. And I won't mention the other person's name. He's married to a foreigner. So, with DEI, we say it's going away. It won't be mandatory, but it's got to be. It still has to exist. And so I think, I think in terms of weeding out the old and bringing in the new. Because if you look at the young kids in college, you look at the young kids in high school, they don't care what color you are, whatever. You my friend. Going. So it's weeded out through the young people. They're interracially marrying. They're accepting of things that older people are not accepting of. So the older people gonna die off. I'm just saying, because and the younger people gonna come up, and they're not gonna see the same things that we saw coming up. And so I think that it's gonna weed itself out as far as, but I'm already, I got, yeah, I got some, yeah, different blood in me as well. So
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? I yeah,
and
that
so
makes sense to
you
me.
know
Uh,
And so, I have nieces, I have a niece that, her children are interracial, biracial, and, I have, we have it already. So they don't care who they love, if they love them, they love them, and I say we have to embrace that with the people that we do business with. If we love doing business with them, we love it. We loved. Why would we stop doing business with a guaranteed? Because, like you said, we're global. Why would we stop doing the business? Why would we stop it? We can't stop it because it's making us successful. Are we closing down all of our businesses because DEI does not exist? I would hope not. I would hope we would still be kind. I would hope if we know that the diversity, the women's company, the Hispanic company, the Asian company, the Russian whoever we're doing business with, Chinese company, whatever, I hope we will still continue to do business with these people that we know that are doing good business, creating great things, and we have a great relationship with. Why would we want to do anything different? If you look at it, 90% of our medical supplies come from
hmm.
overseas. We're not gonna stop doing business with them. Our monitors, just different things. We have a lot of stuff. I know we say American made. Ain't nothing wrong with American made. I love American made too. But we ain't got a whole lot of stuff we manufacturing over here. So we have to be able to be diverse and to still do business. And we have to still invite these people into our companies, into our spaces, and still operate in success with a winning. Did everybody win? You win, I win, everybody win.
Well,
So
what I'm grateful for in this season is that we get to evaluate the levels of change that we've encountered. So, we've experienced some growth because we're able to pretty much go where we want and eat and, that kind of thing because before it was prohibited and we had to go through the
oh
back
yeah,
door.
I remember
Yeah,
the
there used to be some,
signs.
the
I
sign,
remember the signs. White only
right?
fountains.
Um,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, back doors sitting in the back. I remember that. Remember, I'm a child from the
so
'60s,
there's
so
been some real
I
social
remember all
change.
those.
But now, what we were dealing with now, what
Yeah,
I think we're dealing with is something like corporate theater where they're
yeah.
performative, where when there's so much stuff they're putting on like a show, instead of them being authentic and saying, okay, we need this person. One thing that I did that because I encountered I really encountered discrimination in the job search directly one time. Um, I was working in the Silicon Valley, and my name is L. Wanda Bennett, and they didn't like that, so I changed my resume to E.M. Bennett, and I sent it out. And boy, the calls started. They started to call me, and then I talked with them. We had a great interview, but then I get to the place, they meet with me, and I show up like, what I did that for? They were like, what? And and the thing about it is like we have a fairly decent command of the language because we made a decision. I just want it to be where
Hmm.
people can come with their authentic voice, with their authentic self. and know that their gifts, talents, and knowledge, skills, and capabilities will be leveraged, honored, and respected. Respect at the end of the
Come on.
day is what we want in that workplace. So whether they say bye
I
bye to
like
the program, the respect cannot leave. The respect must be where we start because I feel like that's how we heal it. We heal it through respect,
it.
empathy, understanding, and being connected, the belonging piece that I told you was missing. If we could connect on that, I feel like that would be good for us going forward to the future.
Absolutely. I agree. I
You
agree.
know, whenever I talk to you, I always get inspired to do better, be better, become more, because you have truly given us a great way to get connected, to learn, to focus on the positive, to get great outcomes as winners. I want to have you give you a message to the people so they can understand why you're doing what you're doing on the February the 15th. Tell them about that. Please tell them.
So listen, I am doing this because I need to be inspired, encouraged, and empowered. I encourage myself. And I have others that inspire and encourage me. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving back what I have gotten from other leaders, other business owners, other ministry leaders. Just having the foundation of knowing what you can do and how it is no limit to what you can do. You can have whatever you see and believe. And so I truly believe that. And I want people to see further than their hand in front of their face. I want them to see a bright future. And I want them to know that they're so needed in this world in any capacity that they operate in. So, this is why on Saturday, February the 15th, Always Be a Lady empowerment and networking event is just for you. Come out, be inspired, be empowered to keep going in 2025. It will be at the Clayton Library in the museum district. It's on Carolina and it's in the Carriage House. There's 3 buildings on that facility, and we're the second building to the right. Come to the Carriage House. It was the history and science uh, library. And so come on, one, come on, two, come on, three. And it is a free event. And so I just believe in people connecting with like minds, people connecting with people that they've never met before, so that we can keep it going and keep the inspiration going, keep the empowerment going, so you won't give up. And so you'll just keep moving forward, because that's what you're doing when you take a step, one step, you're moving forward, you're moving forward. And so that's why I'm doing this Love of Business and Leadership Empowerment and Networking event on February the 15th. Is free. Go on Eventbrite, or you can go to my website, which is screening at the bottom. It's flowing at the bottom in my on my email. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you for your thought leadership. Thank you for your insight. And thank you for the Love and Business and Leadership meeting that's coming up February the 15th. I know I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to taking part and I'm asking everyone to join us. So have a lovely day and thank you for all you do. That is phenomenal.
And thank you as